Hello, I'm Ed Rabyd, otherwise known as the Rabyd Atheist, a former pastor turned atheist, now compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Feel free to like or dislike the video as you see fit, so feel free to hit those buttons. Feel free to comment below, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and hit your notification bell for more content as it is released. You're also free to share my videos as much as you like. The purpose of this channel is educational in regards to atheist and deconversion issues in particular, and Bible and theology in relationship to some of those issues as well. Mostly what I try to create here is a community for atheists and the deconverted in particular, to kind of sort through some of our stuff, because we do have stuff. Today and tomorrow is kind of a 1 and 2 part whammy. Today is a Rabyd reflection where I'm going to talk about some things related to this past year. That's personal. Rabyd reflections tend to be a little bit more personal. And so if that's not something that you're into, you can, stop the video now and move along and wait until tomorrow when I drop the normal Friday video, which is going to be maybe part 2, I'm not sure. But it's going to be kind of me answering questions, kind of making sure all the questions are caught up to the end of the year, questions and comments, and closing out and starting up the new year on the 1st with a brand new video. And I'm going to do those 2 back to back today because my wife doesn't get home until 6. So I've got a couple hours here, so I'm going to record a couple of videos and then drop them at the appropriate time. Rabyd reflection has always been me being a little bit more personal and reflecting on things, usually my personal life. I do this from time to time. I used to do this on my blog all the time as a way of keeping track of things. In fact, I'm thinking of getting back to blogging because I've noticed that since getting away from it, I'm not as focused on getting things done, and I tend to just kind of spin my wheels and wallow in my depression a lot more, and I don't really want to be that kind of person. So part of my way of dealing with my depression is I have what I call tools in my tool bag. And unfortunately, COVID-19 took a couple of them away for a while that I need to get back to. But one of them is physical fitness. And I have about 3 things I do there: nutrition. And right now I can't really walk as much as I would like because the weather's kind of turned sour. And then, of course, lifting weights. And this part of reflection on my physical body is always a little bit hard for me because at the beginning of the year, when I went into March, I had weighed myself and I was actually looking at dropping below 270 pounds, which I was trying to remember the last time I was under 270 pounds. And I'm a big dude. Okay. I'm like 6'4", 200 and I don't know what I am now, probably 90. I've certainly put up on some weight because of lockdowns and inability to get out as much as I would like to. But, and so, but I was really looking forward to that year because I was really thinking that I could get, my weight down to a level it hadn't probably been in 15, 20 years. So, and then when that didn't happen, that was kind of depressing. And I should have found a way to do it better, and I just didn't, because it was like you're disrupting what I do to make my life better, and it kind of pissed me off. So and anybody who looks at those early videos from this channel will see that my face is a lot thinner. I look a lot better. I feel a lot better in those videos than I do now. So I'm going to work on that. Those are 3 things I got to get back to in the coming year. It's not really to me, it's not really a New Year's resolution. It's more getting on the horse that I was riding at the beginning of last year. I don't know where that horse went, but I want to find him and get back on him. Other things as far as reflection, I look at myself and people ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I've asked that question ever since I graduated high school. And for a long time in the early days, it would be a preacher, be a minister. I got educated that loud, went into the ministry, struggled with that, finally got into it, pastored 3 churches after being an associate pastor in another. That came to a crashing halt when my faith came to a crashing halt, and a few other personal issues happened as well at about the same time. So I've kind of had to spend a little bit of time here. I suppose in some senses having to stay where I've lived almost all my life for a couple more years than I wanted to has allowed me to kind of reflect on what am I now. And I think three things keep coming up. The first is I am a writer. I haven't written in a while, and it's mostly because I'm pretty bummed out about a couple of things related to my writing. I used to have a blog, The Great Wayfarer. It's still there. It's just what bummed me out about it is recently I tried, and I don't know how long this was the case, but recently I tried to post one of my posts to Facebook, to my Facebook page, my writer page, and it wouldn't do it. And the message I got was somebody had labeled my blog as abusive. Now, I have no freaking idea how that would be the case, other than on a couple of occasions I talked about things that happened in my former church. So I have a short list of suspects that would have done that. And so, whatever. My thoughts were, if you didn't like them being posted, just unsubscribe. Don't like my page on Facebook. But, somebody went through the trouble to block The Great Wayfarer from Facebook. And that bummed me out. Sure, I've got other places that I can post that stuff, but I kind of make my home on Facebook because it's a good platform despite all the bullshit that's associated with it. One of the neat things I found out is like 48 states, and this is Democrat and Republican, by the way, states, have filed antitrust lawsuits against Facebook. They're they're going after them. And I think the reason is Facebook made this terrible mistake of trying to engage in censorship. And I think a lot of people are going to say, listen, if a baker who's a Christian has to bake a cake for a gay couple, then you as a social media site still have to allow posts for things that are yellow journalism or bullshit or whatever. You have a right to run a facts-checking site, but you don't have the right to flag all the posts as fact-checked. A lot of people have just turned that off anyway, but it's like you don't have the right to tell people what their politics should be. You don't have the right, and the flagging has also, I think somebody's going to prove that it probably leaned to the left instead of being truly on the ball. I know one of the major newspapers has sued them, and I know Stossel went after them in an expose recently because he was making the observation about the fires out in California that part of the problem was government inaction on Deadwood, that the government has basically done a lot of bullshit too, and it wasn't just global warming, but the fact-checking organization originally went after him for that post and flagged it and blocked it. And it's like, dude, I make my living as a media thing. Now, for me, I'm just a small-time blogger and a small-time YouTube channel guy, but that is part of one of the things that I like to do, which would be an activist for the causes that I believe in. And for me, atheism has become that cause. Separation of church and state has been that cause, but I tend to ride both sides of the fence on that because I see both of the first clauses in the First Amendment and say, yeah, the state shouldn't be influenced by religion, but you know what? The state also isn't really allowed to, its influence on religion should be minimized too. So it's kind of a two-way street, really, when you look at both of them. And a lot of my atheist friends don't like that, but it's true. You got to let the religious people have a right to be religious, and they have a right to express their religious opinions. Okay, so they have a right to do that. So there's that, and that's kind of one of the things is being an activist. So I'm struggling with what to do about the block blog. The only thing I can really think of is to make my Facebook page, my writer page, and the Rabyd Atheist. There is a Rabyd Atheist Facebook page. I just don't advertise it very much. A few of you have found it, by the way, on your own, just searching, and I appreciate that. But as far as the blog goes, I've noticed that my discipline about things has dropped significantly when I don't write about it on a regular basis. And when I write about it and journal about it, and people say, well, why don't you keep a private journal? And it's like, it doesn't work. I have tried that many times, and it just doesn't keep me focused. When I have people to be accountable to with my journal, it works. Imagine that. Accountability works. And I post and I say, this is some of the struggles. And people will comment and say, hey, I had that struggle too. Deal with it this way, and whatever issue it is. So that's kind of, I don't know what to do about that. My other option is to start a new blog for that purpose, for journaling purposes only. And, maybe the Gray Wayfarer too, because the Gray Wayfarer was about me walking through life as the Gray Wayfarer. And I still keep that title for myself. The gray being both morally symbolic and depression symbolic. So that's kind of where, I am most of the time, is in the gray. But do I do a 2.0, or do I just give the current blog a new name and start it over on the first? I don't know. We'll see. That's one of the issues that I'm going to work on. But being a writer is part of that. I need to write more regularly, but what kept me doing that was the blog, constantly posting almost every day for a while on, okay, what do I need to do? What's the goal here? What am I trying to do? What habits do I need to form? Things like that, where I'm constantly thinking about that. And so that's a reflection that I'm working on right now that I think that's a big key piece to getting back to where I need to be. And so on the first, you may see a new blog, or you may see it the first full week of the year. I need to think about this because my writing is sometimes controversial and people take a very dim view of it. So I need to work on that too. But I know that my life is better when I'm writing regularly on a blog. So, it's usually depression or some stupid thing that gets me to stop, and I just need to keep focused and keep doing it. But being a writer, being a atheist advocate are two of the three things that I want to focus on in the coming year, and getting back to and all that, getting back to the discipline of it. The last thing is to be an educator. Now, this channel has partially done that, but I think in some way, shape, or form, I think my career, my future, is as an educator of some sort. I don't know how that's going to pan out specifically. I do have one major thing in the works that I've been working on, and I was working on it last year in March. But then COVID hit and shut down a bunch of things, and then it became very, very difficult to think about moving or leaving. But now as we're coming out of it and the vaccine is starting to become more available, it seems a little bit more viable and a little less stressful to make a career move sometime in 2021. So, stocking shelves and, all that stuff that I'm doing now, which I get paid pretty well for. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the best I could do. There are other careers out there that I can take my political science degree and put it to use. And the problem with COVID is, of course, unemployment has jumped. People aren't hiring as much. And so it's kind of been kind of a shitty year to make a career change, to be quite honest, and to be quite frank. So I stuck with what I knew to keep the money rolling in. And it's been pretty good. And the government's been kind enough to say, hey, you don't have to pay your student loans right now, but I don't know when that ends. I think it ends in January unless they extend it. But it's like, okay, here's some things that need to be done. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out at this point, but I do need to make a career change. And I think being some form of educator is the direction I'm going to head. People ask me, do I miss working with people? I'm an introvert, so in my private time, I like the people that I like around me. I'm not really into every single human being coming up and saying hi when I'm in my private time. But I have no problem working with people in my public time. So, I never had a problem with that part of the ministry, dealing with people, talking with people, not a thing. Do I miss that? Yeah. In fact, I think it was kind of my socialization. In my current job, there just isn't a lot of room for socialization. You're there to do a job, and you do your job and you come home. And so socialization is not a big part of any of our lives at work because it's just the nature of the beast is such that it just doesn't work out that way. So there's that. But that's kind of the three things that I've been reflecting on and trying to get to. And along with that comes a lot of planning. Probably after the ball drops on New Year's Eve this evening, you'll probably see me at about 1 o'clock sitting in front of my computer, if you could look into my house, working on this idea. What are the things that I need to do to get my life back on track? And I'm not looking at it so much as New Year's resolutions as it is, and this is something I've been thinking about for about a month now. It's just, I need to get my life back on track and I need to get going towards my goals again. And COVID-19 has kind of kicked that in the ass big time. But I think that's going to come to an end. I think the vaccines and our better handle on what to do in this disease environment is going to, I think the scientists in the medical community are winning, is what I'm saying. And we're going to start hearing that win-win-win now that, different leadership is in the United States. You're going to hear more win-win. Trust me on that one. So we'll see what happens. This has kind of been a reflection, though. My chief thing with all this is depression. And my depression for a long time was caused by the fact that I was never good enough. And this is where the atheist part comes in and where deconversion is a big issue. Because a lot of people, why are you an anti-theist? I'm an anti-theist because I think when I look back at all the people that I've ministered to, nearly all of them had some sort of mental problem. I'm going to be blunt. A lot of them really minor. But the big one is not feeling good about yourself, not feeling you're worthy, not feeling that you're a good person is absolutely pounded into you by religion. And I'm going to tell you something, it gets to you. And it causes you to have a lot of issues about who you are and what you can achieve. And so as I reflect on this, I need to make sure my religion, my former religion, doesn't beat me on a personal level. And that's kind of why these reflections exist. As I deal with my own deconversion issues, if you're coming to this channel as somebody who's deconverted, hoping that I can help you get over your deconversion issues, I can help you in this sense. I'm going through it too, and I can say, hey, we're all into this together. I'm not sure I can help you in the fact that I've got some sort of magic wand because I don't believe in magic, and you shouldn't either. I can say that you need to work towards it, and you need to find out what the obstacles are in working towards it, like I'm doing today, and find a way to beat it. I think if you do that, I think you'll be fine. It's when you give up that it's a problem. So today I'm just kind of launching this here on New Year's Eve, saying that there's going to be a lot of changes. I hope that someday when I look into a YouTube video I've made, I can see that thin, healthy face that I saw at the beginning of the year. I'll probably do another video when I hit the year milestone of my channel here, which I think is like the 17th of January, somewhere in there, 21st, that week anyway. And that'll be a good week. And it'll be a good milestone to hit. But at the same time, I realize there's a lot of work to do. This YouTube channel is only part of my activism. I need to get writing. I need to be more active in the groups that I believe in, including things like FFRF and the Clergy Project. It's been such a raw year this year for me. I'm an introvert and I don't go anywhere. My life really hasn't changed that much, except the occasional event of getting out and seeing my family, the occasional event of getting out and seeing my friends, or hopping on an airplane and just going to see some friends. The controlled social engagement that I used to have. And I've lost a lot of that because I've left the church. And I was just starting to get back into that. And then all this happened, and it's just been depressing as shit. So, I just wanted to let everybody know there's a lot of things going on in my life. The fact that when you see a video get posted, there's a lot of personal shit. I don't really want to do this, but I feel if I don't, it's going to get worse kind of thing that comes out with these videos. I just want to let you know that. I'm not asking for pity or any of that shit. What I'm simply saying is that when you see a video get posted on this channel, there's a lot of obstacles. I think if there's a lot of things I want to do, I think somewhere after the first anniversary, I may take a couple weeks off of this channel, but not for the purposes of disappearing, but for the purpose of, Ed, you've been promising to learn some of this technical bullshit so you can do better videos. You probably should take a week or two off to learn it. And, I may do that. So we'll see. It'll either happen early this year or I'll wait till summertime when I know that I have time off and, things like that, hopefully. But we'll see what happens. But I've got a lot of things to do and a lot of things to get going, and I need to take it like you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So, but thank you for all of you for listening to me pontificate about my life and my reflection. Probably on the first of the year, you will see another video where I look pretty much similar to what I am now, because I'm going to do both videos back to back and then post them. So, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate all of you that are my subscribers, including your new ones. Welcome. And hopefully someday I can convince you to be a rabid atheist like myself. In the meantime, this is Ed Rabyd, also known as the Rabid Atheist, signing off and wishing you a good day.